Dave Hogshead here for Practical Shorin-ryu. So this is the last video in my series on solo training with target mitts, solo training some bunkai applications for Pinan Shodan or Heian Nidan. In this video we're looking at the last sequence in the kata in matsubashi. We've just finished the what looks like a reinforced chest block, a big pivot into a low block, and then there's a high block, low block, high block at 45-degree angles. So again, we're going to be looking at that particular sequence as another kind of clinch fighting scenario. The previous video looked at one possible application for a throw in the clinch, in the clinch, and this one we're going to be looking at those high blocks as strikes, strikes to the throat, and then the low block is kind of like clearing limbs, continuing to strike. And then finish up with a knee strike and back away. So another kind of a basic clinch fighting scenario using the final few moves in Pinan Shodan or Heian Nidan. So doing the kata this way, we just did the reinforced chest block, pivot down into low block, and then the ending, at least in matsubashi, at the 45, step in, high block, low block, high block, and then you're finished. So what I'm thinking here is we've got another kind of clinch fighting scenario. So we're going to be using those high blocks as strikes. But in order to get into a position where you can strike more effectively, we need to loosen up the enemy a bit. So we're going to do some knee strikes, work that arm around. You're going to step in, and then the hands behind their neck here. So you're going to get the arm loose, come in, strike their head, right? Limbs are going to be becoming loose, hopefully. If they haven't dropped, one thing you can do is think about clearing those limbs. There's the low block. So clearing those limbs and then stepping in if he's still with you, right? You're going to step in, strike those high blocks, striking to the neck again. And if he doesn't drop, one thing you can do is grab knee strike and then back away. Now the knee strike is not in the kata, but we are just sort of adding in some other possibilities, right? The kata is only giving you basic principles, combative principles, and some techniques to illustrate those combative principles. But of course, depending upon the scenario and the situation and the context, you can add other things in. So in terms of the drill, I'm going to finish it off with big knee strikes at the end. Excuse me. So again, we're in that clinch fighting scenario. We've got knee strikes. Work that arm around, step in at the angle, striking to the head, loosen them up, clear those limbs, stepping in again, striking the neck, and then grabbing his shoulder and in the back of his neck here, some knee strikes, and then backing away. So how might we work that using the target mitts? So for this particular drill, I'm going to go ahead and use two target mitts. So I'm going to set it up. I'm going to start with left hand up behind his neck. The right hand is sort of in the crook of his elbow. So we're going to start in this kind of clinching position. We'll do our knee strikes. So just strike that front pad. Loosen that arm up, work it around, step in. There's my high block. So I'm going to do some forearm strikes into his neck. Clear those limbs. I'm going to put this hand up here to simulate his head. I can clear the limbs, locate the head here. It could be like a data setting as well. Stepping in, here's my second high block, so I'm striking, doing some forearm strikes to the neck. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to wrap them up and then do that rear leg knee strike and then back away. Really nice little combination here. So again, we've got the knee strikes, get that arm free, come in, forearm strikes, clear those limbs, step in, forearm strikes, knee strikes, and away. Alright, so a little more speed and power. And away. Again. And then you would just switch and do it to the other side. So you got your knee strikes, clear that, work that arm out, come in, forearm strikes, clear the limbs, forearm strikes, and then knee strikes, and away. And away. One more. And away. So there's the last drill. Basically, again, working a clinch fighting scenario, thinking about those final high block, low block, high block as actually strikes, clearing the limbs, striking, and then adding in some knee strikes there to loosen them up or to finish them up at the very end. So I hope you've enjoyed this little series on solo training, different bunkai applications for Pinan Shodan or Heian Nidan using target mitts. Again, many of us are still in lockdown, or if some dojos are open, you can't necessarily do partner training, and so these types of drills will be excellent for your own individual solo training at home or wherever you can find space to train, or also in the dojo where you can't necessarily do in-close partner training where you still need to have physical distancing. You can still practice these bunkai applications and get a little bit of impact training using the target mitts.